Well, today we have a great treat. We're here at Honor Heights Park in Muskogee, and it is absolutely beautiful. We're right in the middle of the Muskogee Azalea Festival, and with us today is Rick Ewing, and Rick is the Superintendent of Parks here in Muskogee. And Rick, thank you for visiting with us today.
Thank you for coming. Thank you for coming.
Well, we're just really excited to be here, and of course the Azalea Festival is kind of the highlight of the year with the park, isn't it?
Yeah, it's we were able to draw in quite a number of visitors. From 50 states. A lot of times we have foreign countries here, and they're here to enjoy the park, especially the azaleas.
Well, it is absolutely beautiful, and we'll be showing you some more of the pictures from the park later. But Rick, also, besides the azaleas, there's a lot more here to see, isn't there?
Oh yeah. We've got quite a lot of activities that we have throughout the year, and we try to have color 4 seasons a year. In addition to 30,000 azaleas. We've got, as you can see behind us, we've got a lot of annual beds, tulips in particular. This year we planted about 20,000 tulips.
Wow.
We have an AARS rose garden that we're very proud of that wins awards each year. We have 3 tree arboretums. We have the Art Johnson Dogwood Collection. We have the Elbert Little Native Tree Collection, which will eventually house one of every tree found native in the state. And then we have the C. Clay Harrell Landscape Tree Arboretum, which right now we're at about 300 trees in that one. So we've got quite a lot of those, and they're all labeled, so everybody can go out and stroll and look, and it tells of the culture, where they should be planted, what type of conditions they grow best in. We have the waterfall that has perennial gardens. We have daylily collections, and the waterfall is a favorite with the kids.
Yes.
You get to run up and down the mountainside here, and it was originally built back in the 30s with the WPA. And so we have that and a lot more. And then as the fall progresses, we have a big Christmas light display that we have each year, and it's called the Garden of Lights. And we try to emulate things that you would find in a park. So we don't have the big commercial Santa Claus and such, but instead you find the trees very artistically done. The azaleas are once again lit up in blooming colors, and we have animated things such as squirrels, birds. We have children flying kites. We have large geese swimming out in the lake. So and all of these are done via our staff and volunteers. And so it's quite a display. We pull in this year. We pulled in about 300,000 guests, just shy of 300,000 guests in that month. We open Thanksgiving and close New Year's.
Well, neat. So really, even if people miss the Azalea Festival, there's a lot to see here year-round.
There is, year-round. Yeah. And the Azalea Festival this year will run through the 18th of April, and but we always have azaleas blooming, up into the month of May. So even if you can't make it during the Azalea Festival proper, come on out. We've got stuff happening all year.
All right. Well, thank you for visiting with us, Rick.
You're welcome.
We're just going to take a look around.
Please feel free to browse.
Well, after seeing all those beautiful azaleas in Muskogee, you may be inspired to put some in at your own place. And there are a couple of considerations to think about when you put your azaleas in, and that will help them get off to a good start. And one is the location, and the other one is the soil. Now, azaleas need to be sheltered, especially here in Oklahoma, from our late afternoon suns and also from the wind. So if you put them on the north or the east side of the house, that's a good idea. Also, they don't like deep shade. If you put them in deep shade, what's going to happen is they're probably not going to bloom very good for you, and you're going to get very leggy growth with few leaves. So what you need is some trees that are limbed up high so they get that filtered light, and especially the morning light is very good. They really need to be protected from that afternoon sun, but they don't need shade all day long. Now, about the soil, azaleas actually like a very low pH, a lot like blueberries, anywhere from 4.5 to 5. So you'll need to get a pH test taken on your soil before you start planting. And they need that good drainage. A lot of times a good planting mix to actually amend the whole area, you can make a whole bed for azaleas, is half peat moss and half coarse sand. Another good mix is 1/3 loamy soil, 1/3 composted oak leaves, and 1/3 sand. And that'll be a very good planting medium for your azaleas. So if you get those two things right at the beginning, you're going to have better success with your azaleas. Now, if you have some azaleas that are established, you may be thinking about when do I need to prune them? And actually the time to prune azaleas is right after they quit blooming. Here, about the end of April, they're going to be finished blooming, and it depends on the variety, but as soon as your blossoms start to fall off, you can come out and prune them. Now, you've got some time there, about a month. You never want to prune azaleas after the 1st of July, because what's going to happen is you're going to actually be pruning off next year's buds. So you'd come out with a green azalea next spring and no flowers. So never prune them after July 1st. Now, as we look at them, some azaleas don't need a lot of pruning, but others need just a little bit of touch-up. And as we look at this overall azalea, for the most part, it's got a pretty nice shape. And a lot of people don't like, a real sheared effect. Some azaleas lend themselves to that, but others it's very nice just to let them grow. But as you look here, you can see some things that need pruned. And here we've got one. A lot of times they'll have kind of a spurt here that's coming off. And over here we've got another one that's coming off. And we could actually prune those and get those out of the way. And what we can do here, if you're going to prune this, is just take it back to where we've got another joint here. See, we've got some leaves here, and given a chance, those will probably sprout out for us. So we can come back here and just cut this off at an angle here, and that'll give us better shape next spring. Now, if you have an azalea that's in a spot where you feel like you have to just really cut it back a lot every spring, you've probably got the wrong azalea there, because you really don't want to prune a whole lot off. Now here I've got this other one back here. I'm going to take this one off, and we'll just take it back down to these leaves. And again, the time to do this is as your flowers are starting to fall, or just after they've all fallen off. I'm pruning this one just a little bit early because I am going to use some of these flowers to put in vases. Now the other thing, again, as always, we want to take any of this dead material out that we've got here. So we'll take that off. Oops, having a bit of a problem getting that one off there. There we go. And if your azalea is getting very leggy and you feel like you need to kind of rejuvenate it, you can actually come and take some of the very oldest growth off. Now, usually you don't want to take more than about 1/3 of that off, but see how this is very old down here? Now, we could actually take this off at the base and let our new stuff get some more sun here and let it fill in. So I would just take this off, and that's probably it, because we've got new growth all in here, younger pieces of the plant, but this is very old. There's not a lot of leaves back here. Now, if your azalea is kind of leggy and it's not as bushy as you would like it, there's something else that you can do, as the new growth starts here, you can see we've got some new leaves coming out. We can actually come through here and pinch these off about halfway. And this one's still a little bit short here, but as it starts to grow out, we can come back to our next set of leaves and just pinch these off all over the plant about halfway down, and that will get it to bush out some more. So these are just some pruning tips that can help you keep your azalea in shape. Now also, it's a good time to fertilize your azaleas. You can use any type of fertilizer made specifically for azaleas, acid-loving plants. Miracid is one. You can also use cottonseed meal. This helps acidify the soil and also gives the plants a little boost. You don't want to overdo it on the fertilizer, one, because azalea's roots are shallow and they can get burned easily, and two, you don't want a whole lot of just lush green growth coming out, because what will happen is you'll get all that growth at the expense of flowers. So don't over fertilize. However, if you think they need a little bit of a boost, it's a good time to do that. So these are just a few tips on how to take care of your azaleas here, and you can get a very nice display next spring.
We hope you've enjoyed this classic from the Oklahoma Gardening Vault. Remember, even though these tips and techniques are timeless, there's always something new to learn in the world of gardening. By subscribing to both Oklahoma Gardening and OK Gardening Classics, you'll have access to a wealth of gardening knowledge, both classic and contemporary.